Today we'll be reviewing two movies. We have Charlie's Angel that came out, and we're also reviewing a classic Ghibli movie called Princess Mononoke. Brett hasn't seen it. I've seen it.
Well, I've seen it now.
You've seen it now.
Yeah. I'm not just winging it. Like, it was probably okay. I don't know. It sounds all right.
But we're also reviewing that because there was a
Ghibli Fest.
Ghibli Fest, yeah. So we also went and saw Princess Mononoke, which is a Ghibli studio movie. It's in Japanese animation, and it was released in 1997. Anyways, Brett hasn't seen it until this past week.
Yes.
And I've watched it because I kind of grew up on Studio Ghibli movies, and I kind of wanted to show and get his Brett's impression,
approval
of this movie to see
My
what he kind of thought of it. So I'll have him start this off.
Okay, yeah.
Again.
Yeah. So
on it.
Like you said, this was a new movie for me. I watch a decent amount of anime, but I never really went out. I never seen many of the Ghibli stuff. I've never seen. I haven't seen a ton of anime movies. More into like the shows like Dragon Ball, My Hero, Naruto, stuff like that. So keep that in mind with my rating, because I don't feel like I'm necessarily qualified to give you a rating on this movie. With that said, I'm going to give you a rating on this movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. I'm going to give it a 7.5. And the reasoning behind that is the themes and the message, symbolism of the movie was very, very well done. I thought it was smooth, didn't feel forced. It was relatable.
Even though it came out in 1997.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Like, this is a 97 movie, and it has some really, really poignant points. It has some good points that I think we should take to heart now. And it definitely makes you feel for basically every side in this movie. I think that's its best quality. The people that are supposed to be bad guys are not really bad guys. Like, I don't think there is a single bad guy in this movie other than like the curse or the worms, you know? And I think that's really cool. I think it was done really, really well. I know a lot of people try to do that, but I think this is one of the movies that like nail it. The problems with this movie are the voice acting, first of all. And we saw it in the dub. And I mean, some of the English voice actors sound like they were going up and down like Times Square and were like, "Sir, I know you're on your way to work, but can you say this line real quick?" "Okay, thanks. It's going to be in our movie." And like went on, like they just sounded like they had no idea what was going on. They were just like plucked off the street and just were like, "Read this. Oh no, the monster is coming. We need to defend the village." Is that good? Okay, bye. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That's what it didn't feel very passionate of a performance from a lot of the voice actors. There were some that just really, really took you out of it. And so maybe it's better in the sub. I haven't seen the sub.
It's so much better in the sub.
I would hope. So yeah, that was a pretty bad one. The other one was it can be a little slow, and I think that's more of a thing just with anime movies, which is why I'm saying like I'm putting a little qualifier on my review, because I haven't seen many of them and I'm not used to that kind of storytelling. It is a very different way of storytelling than most cinematic movies nowadays, actually back in 97. But yeah, I think anime just has a certain style of storytelling that I'm not quite used to yet, and that's why I'm not saying like my 7.5 is because it's anything bad. It's just something that I didn't like, and I don't really know. I'm not fully prepared or capable of critically analyzing this movie for a massive audience. So I feel like I can do better than most, but we're the best. We go for best. But yeah, so I think it's just 7.5. Good story. I like the way they played with who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, and definitely relative to the environment today. So
Well, my opinions on this, I feel like this movie kind of stands to the end of time. It's a movie that, like what Brett said, it's relatable even till now, and it came out in 1997. This movie has such history and culture in it, and being that I kind of like lived in Japan for quite some years, Brett kind of just doesn't have that connection to it.
Yeah, the cultural connection for me was a big, like, I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
So
That's probably why he didn't understand. Plus, being in English, there are some.
the one cultural connection thing I got was like, oh, that's the Pokemon.
But yeah, being that, Brett doesn't have that connection with the culture, or, that kind of like, he just doesn't know. Especially being that it's in English. It's dubbed rather than in Japanese, so you don't get that full. There are some things in
Some words that don't have direct translations.
That doesn't have direct translate. Yep, you said it perfectly right.
Like that word that means like friend, but it's like more than friend, but it's not lover, but it's like, yeah.
But like what Brett said, there's lots of messages and themes and symbolism in there that it's a very great discussion-based movie. And like we say with most movies that are good, deals with a lot of discussion, like The Joker, Jojo Rabbit. Like I'm saying, most good movies are well discussed movies. Kind of going into the story, this, if you haven't seen it, it follows a young prince who's banished by his tribe, and he's on this mission to heal his infected arm, kind of like see if the gods can help out with that. And as you follow this kind of young prince, you meet different gods, guardians of like the forest, come across this princess who kind of raised up with the gods and are fighting a war
But what
against
makes
the
her
humans.
a princess? She was just raised by wolves. That
Yeah, but
don't
the
mean
wolves
she's
are
a
gods, and
princess.
then they're like, that's her.
If
their
you're
child.
then you're a demigod, or you're an adopted child of a god. Can't be a princess just because your dad's a god. Was Hercules a prince? No. Checkmate.
But that's the thing, is that that's more of the culture side of things. So
That's just me being an idiot.
Yeah.
I didn't mean any of that. I don't... Princess and the Frog. And I guess the guy was a prince, but she didn't like marry him to the end. It was Princess and the Frog. When he wasn't a frog, then she was a princess. So it's not the princess and the frog. It's the princess and the guy that used to be a frog.
anyways, going back to the movie, this movie has story. This movie has lovable characters, symbolism, and the soundtrack is amazing. Probably not one of the best soundtracks within the studio, within the different Studio Ghibli movies. Being that this is the first time I've seen kind of on the big screen, I was really impressed with the artistic work behind it. Kind of like more of the background, where you do see the mountains and you see the fog or the clouds, them going through like the fields and like the forest and everything. Like all the background kind of really stood out on the big screen. And I've never seen it because it's always been on a smaller screen for me. And I was just really blown away back by that.
It's supposed to be about the like grandeur of the environment and the forest and the animals in it, and yeah, you definitely get that.
Which is amazing because it was released in 1997. I can't really stress that
And
enough.
it looks better than some of the animations that we see now. So
Like what Brett said, you don't really get a real distinct enemy or antagonist, which Miyazaki, who is the director, producer, and just everything about Ghibli, does a great job with his storytelling to have conflict and tension within this story without having those things. This movie kind of shows, in a way, how everyone's theory or the way of life kind of goes against other people's way of living in life, and that we should just live to learn and live in harmony. Yeah. This movie has messages about religion, kind of just like the new era, industrialism, and just nature preservation, and many more. I'm pretty sure that there are other people that can
classism.
pick a little bit more on it, but these are kind of what just kind of stuck to me a little bit. The flow of the movie was great. Kind of comes around in a nice circle. There is character developments with not just one character, but several characters within the story. And That's why I rank this movie as an 8.5. Yeah, but if you don't understand kind of just the history and the culture side of it, I do get why Brett ranked it as 7.5 as well. But that comes out to a samurai view of an 8. So
maybe an 8.2 just because mine has less bearing than his. So 8.2.
Yeah. But anyway, that concludes our non-spoiler part of a review video for Charlie's Angel and Princess Mononoke. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate our 112 subscribers for supporting us and actually watching our videos. And we hope to catch you guys next time in our discussion-based video, our spoiler part of the video for Charlie's Angels and Princess Mononoke. It'll be a fun time. We're kind of try to incorporate a little bit more of those IMDb review reactions within it as well. So stay tuned. I don't know if dabbing's the thing anymore.
You're 25. You want to know?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Grandpa. Okay, boomer. All right.